Welcome to the Sharpe Show. It is a Friday evening, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, I am here again, doing my best to reach out to you as I always try to, even though I am, as you can imagine, crazy busy. Tomorrow, I am off, going back upstate New York with 4 stops this weekend for my final 4. Yes, my final 4 stops to finish 62 counties. So I'll be done this weekend, but I'm still not done yet. I'm still moving forward. I'm still going, trying to make things happen. And today I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a special Friday night show because today I was given a treat. I was given an amazing little treat where I got to see my local Baron Wilhelm de Blasio, and at the same time, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, also together in one city together, talking about the most important things that are important to all New Yorkers. The thing that is on all our minds, the thing that's bugging you on a daily basis that you just can't wait to get some clarity on. So I know it's bugging you. I know it really means, they're going to say things that you really care about tremendously. I know this. So we should probably get to it. Hope, as I say, please to enjoy. But first up, let me change one thing. Before we go there, I do want to remember one thing. Please like, comment, share. I say all the time, now will be the time to do so. Like and comment and share right now will be the time. Absolutely. And please don't ever forget, it's in the link, World's Smallest Political Quiz. These are people who support the show. You want to support the show, support them. Share this quiz, take this quiz. It does matter, makes everybody happy. Please do that. That's awesome. So please do that. Like, comment, and share. And now we will discuss our awesome Fridays with Bill and Kathy. So this is a press conference they did today. What's most important? Critical.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very important moment as we're getting information about the first Omicron variant case here in New York City.
Critical. Yep.
Governor Kathy Hochul has joined me here at City Hall.
She came down. She saw this and she said, I got to come down. Talk about this. This is a big deal right here. One case is here. At least is one, at least more.
I'd like to welcome her to offer the first remarks on this development. Governor.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio, for first of all hosting us here as we make sure that we share information in real time with the constituents of our city and our state.
Yep. We are concerned.
Also, I want to make sure everyone understands this is about unity. There's a reason we're here together to signal that this is a challenge that we're going to tackle together and ensure that everyone knows that we're focused on transparency, which means we'll provide information as we get it, as well as a coordinated response from the city and the state to deal with whatever lies ahead.
Look at that. We are ready to rock and roll. I love it. We're gonna be, it's about unity. Unity. Your individual freedom. Unity. Unity sounds a whole lot better than we're gonna force you to do what we say. I gotta admit, if I'm going to be, if I'm gonna be marketing this, Unity's much better marketing.
As I mentioned this morning in my briefing, we still don't have specific information on how the vaccines are holding up or the boosters are holding up to.
So we don't know right now. She says that we don't have specific information on how the vaccines or the boosters are holding up. We're not sure yet. Okay. I like transparency.
This variant, but it is real. We said it would be coming here shortly. We announced this morning that a case from Minnesota was directly tied to the city of New York for individuals who participated in a convention at the Javits Center between November 18th and the 22nd. That individual has already recovered from their symptoms. They tested positive, but are already feeling well, and it was a very minor case. And that's something I want to put an exclamation point on.
I think you should put an exclamation point on that. All right. It was a minor case. They've already recovered. Okay. This is good so far. I don't know why you're here then, but fine. So far, we don't know how well the vaccines are working or not. We don't know if this person's vaccinated or not. And so far, it's not a big deal. Okay, good. So far, so good.
While this may be highly transmissible, at least from the early evidence, and again, more information is still forthcoming. We want people to know that the early cases that have arisen are not life-threatening. They seem to be minor cases.
Not like that's what the South African woman said the same thing. Not life-threatening. Okay, so why are we here then? I don't get it.
That is a source of good news for us right now.
I would agree.
In terms of the information we received, literally there are 5 cases identified today in the state of New York. The first one was in Suffolk County. I've been in communication with the county executive, Steve Ballone, to alert him.
How'd they do?
This came out of a lab that is in Suffolk, and it was a 67-year-old female who had symptoms, mild symptoms of a headache and a cough. There is some vaccination history. We don't know if it's...
so she had mild symptoms and a cough. Okay. This is, I don't know why both of you are here. So far, it sounds pretty good. Mild cough, and she's 67. So she's in there. She's not at that critical, but she's getting there. Okay, this is not bad.
Vaccination, 2 or a booster shot, and that information will be shared with the public as soon as
they haven't had a booster yet.
At least one vaccination involved.
She had one vax.
This is an individual who traveled from South Africa.
She came from South Africa. So she came from where it is and then showed up, and that's okay. This is
tested negative upon returning to the U.S. on 11/25, and on November 30th, they took a point of care test, and they did test positive. And Northwell sent the results to the individual.
This sounds like we're doing good. I don't know why we're here.
A traveler from South Africa who arrived here and is a Suffolk
directly
County
from
resident,
South Africa.
67-year-old woman.
67 years old.
Our second case is a Queens-based. The vaccination status is unknown to know whether or not this person has.
So they may or may not be vaccinated. I don't get why we're here, guys.
Similar situation. No other further personal details, but the vaccination status is unknown. Queens-based, and another case is from Brooklyn.
No one's dying so far. This is good. This is good news.
We received word of another suspected traveler case here in the city.
Another traveler
identified in
came from South Africa. Got it.
One of the 5 boroughs.
Okay.
So we knew this was coming, Mayor. We talked about this. You and I have been in communication already.
5 cases.
No cause for alarm.
No cause for alarm.
The public is aware of information. We'll receive it. We don't have more information at this time, but we suspect that more cases.
Maybe this is going to be a boring show.
The best thing that everyone can do is realize we're not defenseless against this variant.
We're not defenseless
at all. That vaccine, we know, is going to ensure that there's less severe symptoms.
You just said you don't know the efficacy of it. But we'll just...
Something I would highly recommend. If you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you have vaccinations, both series, get the 3rd dose, which is your booster. Ensure that our children are masked up, as well as making sure that they get their vaccination.
So all of the people are older. Not one of them is younger. Symptoms are minor in the older people. The one came directly from South Africa, where this is from. And your answer is vax your kids. Did I miss that? That was her answer. Your answer is vax your kids. Why? She literally said, we have no idea. Her words, we don't know how the efficacy of the vaccine is for this variant. We don't know. We don't know. It could be good. We don't. The one woman who had mild symptoms only had one shot. Maybe it's good. Mild symptoms. The one in Minnesota already back in action. No one's in trouble. So what's the answer? Vax your kids. Because she might as well say tie your shoes. Literally, she might just go, you know what? The answer is keep your shoes tied. Because, COVID, just tie your shoes. And that's the same thing. The same thing.
Anyone above 5 years old. And also recommend that people continue to wear their masks indoors, and when you can avoid large gatherings.
This is the issue. Avoid large gatherings. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So don't go to your family. We've spent 2 years being punished. So don't go to your family. And when you're there, put a mask on, because I don't know why. Because tie your shoe. I guess that's it. She literally just spent the last 3 minutes saying, nothing's wrong. It's all good. Here's this variant, and we got nothing. And vax your kids and put on masks and don't go to Christmas. Okay.
This is not a cause for major alarm. I need to say that because we do not have enough information.
I know you need to say that, but then you tell us to be alarmed. We don't.
We're not having shutdowns. We're not changing our protocols. We are continuing where we are, but making sure that we work in concert together.
So everything's better, so let's change nothing. What she just said, everything's better, let's change nothing. If everything's better, let's change stuff.
And encourage people to get tested often, get the vaccination, and that, again, is our best defense. Again, Mayor, I thank you for the continued relationship that we've had since the beginning of my term.
You're a good guy, man.
But a lot's been happening, and I appreciate your leadership.
The good thing that he does is he's so much more of a tyrant than her. He makes her look good. So I guess she should be happy. Yeah, you're locking everything down. I'm not locking everything down. You're locking everything down. So you make me look great.
Leadership as we work through these issues together.
Thank you so much, Governor.
Okay.
And thank you for
What are you going to do?
tremendous communication. You and I directly, but also your team and my team. I want to thank you for that. A very cooperative, collegial atmosphere. A lot
So
of
tell me
unity
what you're
and
going to
purpose.
do.
And I want to say that to all New Yorkers. We are working together to protect you. We have a new situation, but we
Okay, how's it new? 5 people, no, not even a major issue, not even a requirement for hospitalization, nothing. Okay, what are you doing? Tell me.
also know there's a lot of information we do not yet have about Omicron.
Okay.
We know we now have cases here in New York City. We
That's
have
true.
to assume that means there's community spread. We have to assume that means we're going to see a lot more cases.
Okay.
But we also have tremendous tools, as the governor said.
Okay.
We have a massive vaccination apparatus, and that
Look at this. We got all these vaccines. So does it matter if we see more cases? I don't mean to be a nudge here, guys, but if all we're seeing, if we are, is all we're seeing is a bunch of new cases, but they're sniffles and coughs and stuff like that, which he said, and even in people who are older and coming directly from South Africa. If all of those things are happening and all that's happening is sniffles and such, why are we so afraid? And why are you working twice as hard to protect us? I have an idea. Don't work twice as hard to protect us. Work twice as hard to rebuild our economy, which you've broken. Work twice as hard to make things actually work for us again. Do that. I would be happy. I would shut up if you would do that instead.
is by far our best capacity to protect everyone against this variant or any other form of.
We can protect it against any other form, even though he just said they have no idea if it works or not. I didn't say that. You heard him say that. Or was it her? One of them said, we don't know if it works or not. We have no idea if it works or not. But this is the best chance to protect you. How do you know that? You don't.
COVID. So the message today is let's do the thing we know works with COVID. Let's get vaccinated. To all the parents out there of the youngest New Yorkers who have not yet gotten your kids vaccinated, the 5 to 11-year-olds, we need you to get your kids vaccinated.
Why do you need the 5 to? This is a serious question. And maybe I'm the nutty one here. If you're telling me you're scared of Omicron, and maybe the people who are the weakest towards this, right? Usually people who are over 65, who have a pre-existing condition, those people, this is the plague for them, right? If you're in that demographic, why aren't you saying, if you're in that demographic, we don't know, this could kill you, go get a jab? Okay, that at least to me would make sense if you're saying that, right? Okay, that the risk of COVID, if you're in that range, is serious. So, okay, makes total sense. 5 to 11. This is the problem.
Right away. To everyone who qualifies for a booster and has not yet gotten it, we need you to do that to protect yourself and your family and everyone in this city.
From what?
We know vaccination works.
You didn't know that.
Limits the impact. We know this. It limits the impact of COVID. It helps reduce the spread of COVID. We need that more than ever. We are going to keep.
Okay, we don't know it limits the spread. That we're not sure of, are we?
Informed. The governor's made a commitment. I make the same commitment to transparency. We'll be constantly updating the public. But as the governor said,
your concept of the public because it makes you look good, gives you a reason to be in front of a camera, not because you care. Let's be honest.
Right now, the good news is there's a very strong healthcare team for the city and the state working to protect you, and that will be every single hour of every
single hour of every single day. They are spending the time to protect me. Here, or protect all of us. Here's my problem. At what point did your job title change? Or maybe your job description change to where your job is to protect every single New Yorker. I don't remember at all. And I've done this before. You look in the actual Constitution of New York State, nowhere in the New York State Constitution does it say the governor's job or the mayor's job, the city charter. Nowhere does it say the job of the mayor is to make sure every New York City resident is safe. Nor does the job of the governor. Doesn't say that. Where on your oath does it say that? It doesn't say that. You've just made this up. You've decided that your job is to protect everybody. That's like I'm driving the bus. It's my job to make sure you're all educated. What? Yes, it's my job every day to make sure all of you on this bus are educated. Dude, you drive the bus. No, it's my job to make sure you're all educated. In fact, you all have to learn Chinese, and I'm going to make sure that happens. Dude, you're the bus driver. You could just drive the bus and not worry about whether or not we know Chinese or not. You could just do that. There's no difference in this. No one's asking him, please protect us from every single thing. And if you are asking that, I would ask, kind of what's wrong with you? Why do you think it's a government's job to keep you safe from everything?
Every single day. As for what we learned about this conference at the Javits Center and these additional cases, our test and trace team is out there immediately.
See that?
Working with each individual who was affected to figure out who else they came in contact with. That contact tracing is
critical.
We have the
strongest in making sure that, I guess, I don't know,
in America. Thousands of extraordinary committed individuals out there protecting you. They're going to make sure we identify who needs any.
They are going to make sure that we're protected. I love it.
Anything.
This is great.
Medical support.
This is the worst part of this is afterwards there's questions. And there's not one person who says, hey, why do you think you need to be protecting us from everything? What gives you the right or the power to do so? No one asked that question. Not one. No one does this.
Quarantining, etc.
Quarantining.
We're going to use every tool at our disposal.
Every tool. That's scared.
We announced a vaccine mandate for child care employees, about 102,000 child care.
So they announced, this is what happened. Omicron's coming. And there's nothing to worry about. What they said, nothing to worry about. So what we did was we made a vaccine mandate for 102,000 child care workers. Because don't worry about it. Because kids. Because that's what he just did. So 102,000 child care workers now have to get the vaccine. What if just 10% don't? Just 10%. 10% don't. 10,000 people out of work, number one. 10,000 people who don't now, 10,000 people who can't give someone else child care. Aren't we trying to get the city back to work? Who's going to wind up staying home? I tell you this all the time. Whenever you create prohibition, the people you hurt the most are always the same group of people. Poor women. Every time. So now we're going to create this. You know what's going to happen? A bunch of women who can't afford to deal with childcare. What are they going to do? They're not going to go to work now. That was smart. Our economy's collapsing. Everyone's worried about this stuff. And you're going to protect us. So I'm going to lay off. Are these kids in trouble now? Are the kids going home? I would ask anybody. Does anyone know of anything child-related, whether it's school or camp or anything, that has ever been a super spreader? I would say I've never heard of even one being a super spreader ever. I mean, maybe there's one, maybe you know of one. I've heard of none of them. So if they're not super spreaders, when they're not vaccinated, why in the world would you want them to get vaccinated now? And the childcare workers, unless they all started last month, they've been working in childcare for literally a year and a half or 2 years or far more than that while COVID has been hitting. So why would you offer this now? Because Omicron, which is not a problem, don't worry about it. I'm just going to fire 10,000 people or more. I'm just going to make your childcare in this city even harder. That's your answer. We're going to use every tool we can to devastate this city even worse. You are not at all going to recover. You can try, New York, but no. No.
Earlier today, a vaccine mandate for employees of non-public schools. That's about 56,000.
56,000 non-public school employees got to get the vax now. Mandated. What happens if 10% say no? 5,000 more people unemployed. Because you know what New York City needs right now? More unemployment. That's brilliant. You know what's going to help with inflation? Less people working and getting more government money. That's going to help tremendously. Because New Yorkers don't care about inflation. They care about this. They care about whether their non-public school teachers and workers are vaccinated. No, they don't. Because if they're not public, people are choosing. And if people are choosing, then they're making decisions on whether they care about whether people are vaccinated or not. So clearly, no. Literally, this is a non-starter. So now there we go. We're now going to do this. And now at least 5,000. What if 20% don't do it? That's 10,000 more people laid off. And now your kids can't go to school or get a worse education. Because you know what we need right now in New York City? Worse education. Man, you hitting every button, aren't you? Trashing workers, hurting inflation, giving kids worse education. You are the best mayor ever. You should run for governor. No doubt. I might step down. Maybe I might have you take my spot. This guy's great. He trashes everything.
additional employees. Both of those go into effect December 20.
December 20. You get to get fired 5 days before Christmas. You get to get fired 5 days before Christmas. No benefits for the new year. Thanks for all the help you gave us, Mr. and Mrs. Essential Worker, for the past 2 years. Yeah, Christmas is coming. Pack your trash. Yeah, Christmas is going to suck for you. What I would say to so many of you who voted, New Yorkers, who voted Democrat because your union told you to, think about what they did to you. Think about what they did to you. They told you this is the right answer. They said this guy's the right guy. They said she and Cuomo, they're the right people. They're the right ones. They're gonna hook you up. That's what they told you. Look at what happened. There was a candidate in 2018 who would have never done this to you, ever, and still would not do it. And his plan is still online. You can see his plan has nothing to do with you getting fired before Christmas. Not part of the plan at all. You're looking at that guy. That's me. That's okay. You got him. Good luck.
There will be more new initiatives coming to protect people.
More new initiatives coming to protect people. What do you think that means? That does sound good, though. I mean, it does. If I'm going to say that, I like that. This is more new initiatives to protect people. What he means is more mandates to put more people out of work. But that doesn't sound good at all. I mean, that really sounds terrible.
The bottom line is we're going to use every tool at our disposal.
Every tool.
Our healthcare team and Commissioner Dave Choksi is here with us for answering of questions. Everyone is committed to protecting all New Yorkers, and city and state working together in unity.
Working together to drive the stake through the heart of New York. And you guys are trying to fight back. I know you are. You really want to grow. No, we are going to crush you like there's no tomorrow. But, keep trying to fight. It's fine.
Done. With that, we'll take some questions. Stating the obvious, this is an urgent moment, on topic only.
Why is it an urgent moment? You just spent the first 5 minutes there saying, no reason to worry. It's all good. We're fine. And then world's ending, firing people, making more mandates, urgent moment.
We welcome
Kids
questions
get back
now from the media.
Kids get back.
We'll begin our Q&A. As a reminder, we're also joined by Health Commissioner Dr. Dave Choksi. The first
Health
question
Commissioner's
today
there.
goes to Emma Fitzsimmons from the New York Times.
Oh, he does just talk about vaccine. That's it. Nothing else.
Hi, good evening. So can you tell us all 5 cases?
You would think that the health commissioner would actually talk about health, right? Like, I don't know, exercise or take your vitamins or get fresh air or whatever is the healthy thing of the day, or eat right, or right, one of those things. Get more sleep, have better relationships with your family and friends, calm yourself, meditate, run, whatever, the millions of things that they could talk about, which would actually you do with your health. But he's the health commissioner. What's he talking about? Put in a mask so that you can't breathe well, cover your kids up, destroy your social circle, and you know what? Stay indoors, don't exercise, because I'm the health commissioner. And then take stuff in your body that you don't know and may not even want, because I'm the health commissioner. That's what I tell you to do. Stay inside, cover up your face, don't breathe openly, don't go out and work, don't spend time with family and friends, because I'm the health commissioner. That should be the death commissioner. I don't know what that's the dishealth. Is that unhealthy? That's the unhealthy commissioner. I don't know what the word is for, opposite word for health. That's the illness commissioner. There we go. That's the illness commissioner. That's him.
Cases here are believed to be mild, and only in the first case do we know that the person received at least 1 dose of the vaccine.
Yep, mild.
We only know.
And then Dr. Choksi, go.
So, of course, what she's saying is, the cases are all mild, and we only know one of them was actually vaccinated. Some weren't even vaccinated. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, with respect to the information we just received from the labs, which is literally what happened within the last hour, we only know that one person has been vaccinated for sure, and that is the individual from Suffolk County. So that status is not determined. We expect to know it soon, and the symptoms were very mild. And again, we don't have a lot of cases to compare this to, but the individual from Minnesota.
We don't have many cases, and it's mild. We don't have much. So draconian, lock it all down. We don't have enough of anything. Lock it all down. Punish you.
First case that we spoke about today, again, mild symptoms, they recovered at home, and that is why we have to realize
they didn't even go to the hospital. Mild symptoms, recovered at home. So vaccinate your kids, tie your shoes, whatever. But don't eat right, don't exercise, don't hang out with your friends, don't get your mental health going on. Don't do any of that. Just
that this is actually the fifth variant. I thought it was the fourth, but we added up, it's the fifth variant.
You added them
up. The Delta one that is still pervasive. We've had over 7,000 cases over the 7-day average, 5,300 cases statewide just yesterday from the Delta alone. And we don't know whether this is going to exceed that or replace the Delta variant as the number one
more people
cause
dying
of people becoming contracting COVID. So more information to follow, but we don't know the vaccination status of anyone other than the first one.
Yep.
As I turn to Dr. Choksi, just emphasizing the governor's point, we do have a new challenge, but we have a much bigger current challenge with the Delta variant and driving a lot of real profound impact on families all over the city, state, and nation. So
you tell me that is what, I mean, do you hear what he's saying? He's saying the thing that is profoundly attacking so many families across the state and the city and the nation is COVID. I cross this state. COVID is never number one on anybody's list. I've traveled. It's never number one. People care about COVID. It's real. There's no doubt. It's clear. It's real. It's never number one. It's not number one for people who've lost someone to COVID. I'm not joking. I know people who've lost people to COVID, and they don't think it's number one. It's still number 2 or 3, because they still think surviving in their daily life, trying to have jobs, trying to have fun, trying to have a family, trying to stay healthy, they think all of that's more important than COVID. And I get it. What I see us doing is we're sacrificing everybody for the few people who are in trouble versus just going out of our way to protect the people who are in trouble. That's what we should be doing, going out of our way to protect the people who are in trouble.
Just want to emphasize to everyone, job one is still dealing with the Delta variant. Dr. Choksi, anything to add on the cases so far?
Oh, no.
Just briefly, sir, the governor and the mayor are exactly right. With those 5 cases, we are still gathering all of the details. We know that one of the 5, as the governor said, is vaccinated. It's very possible that others will also be vaccinated, but
So
it
they
gives
might
us
be.
a
Okay.
chance to
We don't know.
reinforce. It's so important. If you or your child are not vaccinated yet,
You or your child.
get vaccinated.
But why? Hear what he just said. Listen to what he just said. Maybe these other people are vaccinated. Maybe not. They don't know. But no matter what, it's mild. So if they're vaccinated, it's mild. If it's not vaccinated, it's mild. Either way, it's mild. So his response is, it's important for you and your kid to get vaccinated. Why? None of the people who got the cases are kids. Kids do die from this, but very few kids die from this, and almost all of them have pre-existing conditions. That those who die from this, almost all do. This is not a thing. What are we doing?
If you are and you're an adult, get your booster dose.
Emma, do you have a follow-up?
It's just pushing.
If not, let's go to the next question.
All right, this one gotta be good.
As a reminder, we're also joined by the Test and Trace Director, Dr. Ted Long. Next question goes to Jimmy Vielkind from the Wall Street Journal.
I know Jimmy. He's interviewed me before. He did in 2018.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
I hear you,
Yes,
Jimmy.
we can. Tape
Jimmy,
delay.
beat him up.
Yes, we can.
Hi. So other than getting vaccinated, my first question is, other than getting vaccinated or boosted, if you haven't already, what adjustments to behavior, if any, are you recommending to New Yorkers?
Look at that, Mr. Health Commissioner. Other than getting drugs, which is fine if you want drugs, please, if you want drugs, get drugs. You know that if you want drugs, get any drug you want. If you want it, you know I'm good with that. But his answer is, so other than drugs, that you keep saying, you said like 45 times, other than drugging your child, other than doing that, is there any other behaviors, you, Mr. Health Commissioner, that you might tell us that we should do?
Governor, would you like to start?
And you go to the governor first. You don't go to the health commissioner with that question. You go to the governor first, because the governor is a governor. Shouldn't you go to the health commissioner first for that one?
Encouraging indoor mask use for sure. That
Indoor
is another
mask
way that
use.
people can have that extra layer of protection. But again, the boosters and the vaccination are the
Had to go back to booster. He said, other than that, because he knew that they're all on just press record vaccination. Beep, vaccinate, get vaccinated, vaccinate your kid. Beep, vaccinate your kid. Beep, vaccinate your kid. That's all they're saying, right? That's all they keep saying. So he says, other than that. And she goes, well, you should wear a mask indoors. That's the governor, I guess, the health commissioner / governor, and get vaccinated.
Primary way to protect themselves. We don't have any evidence of other another variation of this that require a different reaction. For example, if you remember in the early months of the first pandemic, the first variant, COVID initially, people thought that it was transmitted by surfaces.
I remember that.
It was all about making sure that we cleaned our hands and took other precautions.
So you went nuts and you shut down everything and you spent literally billions of dollars on cleaning stuff and we didn't know any better. That was a mistake and a colossal waste of money. So you could have waited, but you didn't. So you think now, why don't we learn from our mistake and wait to figure stuff out? No, we're going to throw money away. It's not her money. She gets a paycheck no matter what. It doesn't matter if the economy crashes. She's getting paid. Economy crashes. You can't pay your bills. Too bad on you. She gets paid.
Caution. So we're learning more information. We'll get all that out. But right now it's exhibiting the same kind of traits that other variants have had. So we believe that the booster and the variant and the vaccination are the way to go. But we highly encourage people to wear their masks indoors.
Yeah, and Jimmy, just quickly to say,
say something dumb.
The governor and I are constantly reminding people how important it is to get vaccinated. I want to say,
yes, and he said besides that, because he knew that's all you're going to say. Literally, there's no other answer. Just get vaccinated. That's all it is. And wear masks indoors so that your family can feel even more distant from you. Their faces are already in the phone. So now let's put a mask on so you don't even know who's in your house, basically. You have no idea. That's brilliant. And it's Christmas time. Keep the mask on when you open up your presents so you can't even see your kids' faces when they open the presents up. That's brilliant. That's why live. Just why live?
Particularly with the holiday gatherings coming, with travel coming.
See
Anyone
that?
who's thinking of traveling on a plane, on a train, anywhere around other travelers, get vaccinated. It's more urgent than ever to do that.
More than ever, even though we have no evidence.
Dr. Tox, you want to add?
Thank you, sir. Vaccination is the single most intervention.
He literally said, Jimmy literally said, other than vaccination, and all three of them went vaccination. Okay, other than that, vaccination. Click, vaccinate your kids. Click, vaccinate your kids. That's all it is. This should be the vaccinate your kids show. That's what it is. Just vaccinate your kids.
As has already been described. Beyond that, masking and testing are important. Masking, particularly indoors, and testing is important, particularly around travel or gatherings. Beyond that, there are common sense precautions that we have seen have worked over the past 2 years.
Okay, they're working.
Stay home if you're not feeling well, and that includes
Don't go to work.
Mild symptoms.
You get a mild symptom, stay home. Don't go to work. That's because you know what we need? Less people working.
And if that's the case, get tested and then come back home. And then hand washing, particularly important right now as well. We have to deploy all of those tools together, but it starts on the foundation of vaccination. New York City.
That's the health commissioner of New York State. I'm New York City. I keep saying that. That's the health commissioner. Didn't say anything else. You know, just get vaccinated and get tested. That's it.
Is in a good place, but we have to drive even further.
And then, thank you. As a follow-up.
Yep.
As a follow-up,
come on.
Do we have any knowledge as to whether these 5 cases were related? It sounds like the Suffolk County is not to the people who attended the anime convention. Mm-hmm. And of those 53,000 people.
Well, it's an anime convention, so it's kind of okay if you. I'm kidding you, animes. I'm kidding.
Do you have any sense of how many of them were either state or city residents?
I'll start with the governor, and then I'll see. But we're also joined by Ted Long, who runs our Test and Trace initiative. He may have
this stuff is crazy.
But Governor,
the contact tracing just began today. We literally received this information about the people gathering at that convention from November 18th to the 22nd. So it's too early in the process to be able to identify who have been residents. But in terms,
so to be clear, you knew. You tell me how great your contract tracing is. And you knew there was an anime convention. You knew that was happening with thousands of people in Javits. You knew that. And so you didn't bother putting the people out and figure that one out. You're like, well, you know, it's just anime people. It's fine. Is that what they thought? Let me grab some comments before I go any further. It's terrible to watch this because we know that it's always the same, right? Thomas says, when the world sees how Larry Sharpe fixed New York, his methods will be emulated and there will be more happiness and less suffering in the world. Donate, like, comment, share, and like other comments. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, listen to what he's saying. He is correct. Yes, Thomas, please do that. He is correct. Absolutely. If you want to donate, you can. LarrySharpe.com/donate if you want to. And of course, for those of you who are making tons of money in cryptocurrency, you can, if you want to, donate with cryptocurrency. LarrySharpe.com/crypto-donation. You can if you want to. I'd love that. But either way, I do appreciate the shout out. I really do. So let's see. John says it's Friday and you're going to rip up on Queen Kathy. Thank you for the good evening, my friend. I appreciate it. But these two together, I mean, they don't say anything, right? I got to tell you, when it comes to ripping up people, Cuomo was better. Cuomo was better at it. He was better. He was better fodder, right? He was better fodder. So it's true. He was. Yes. All right. So let me see if I can grab this here. To grab a couple of these. The Northern Bandit says Hochul de Blasio, oof, poison and ivy. I like that. Very good. Excellent. Let's see here. Shelley says uniformity is not unity. Joseph Graber, you're right. That's correct. Yes. If you notice what I always say, I want diversity of thought with unity of purpose. I don't want unity of action, right? Or even unity of thought. That's not helpful. I want diversity of thought with unity of purpose. What's the purpose? We can survive and thrive in an environment that will have COVID in it. COVID's not going away. It's going to exist in some form and probably more variants, like the flu. The flu does kill people every year. Not many. It's not that bad, which is great. I'm glad about that, but it does. And some people should get a flu shot. If you think you're someone who might get pneumonia and die from the flu, try to get your shot. Doesn't pneumonia have a shot too, I think? If you're in that world, maybe you should get it. This is how COVID should work. If you're in that world where it might hurt you or get your shot. If not, I got it. Whatever is the issue. This is yes. Thank you for that. Yes. Dave says she came from South Africa. Translation, if she's a Republican, she's a spreader. If she's a Democrat, we should help her. That's terrible. That's terrible. Yes. Christine says, not a vaccine. It's not anymore, is it? Right? No matter what you might think about it, if you have to get a shot every 6 months or every year, is it really a vaccine? Is it? Or is it instead it's a treatment? Is it that? And maybe you need it, right? Maybe, again, I don't want to stop anyone who feels worried or concerned. If you think that's going to affect you, then please take the treatment if you think it's right for you, of course. So yes. Shelley says, if a 2% infection rate was a year and a half of fear and senseless, lose jobs, a job loss, what do we do to people if they get a cough? Oh, yeah. You're right. Yes, you're right. Wow. Jonathan says, I wouldn't let this lady run a lemonade stand. Well, I'd rather her be doing that right now, Jonathan. If I had a choice, right? If she could do this or lemonade stand, I would build her a lemonade stand. I think you would too. You and me be out there. We'd be out there right now. I'll make the lemonade. Oh, good. I'll bring it out. If that would get her out of the office, I think me and you are going into the lemonade business. She's our first employee. And she don't have to show up. Just don't go to the governor's mansion. It's fine. You don't have to sell any lemonade at all. Just stay here. It's fine. She can go in front of my house. I won't even bother her. Stay in front of my house as long as you want. Sell as much lemonade as you want. I'll bring out more. Keep all the money. Just stay there. It's totally fine. So yes. All right. And Shelley goes on to, it's not a vaccine. It's an mRNA shot. That's true. That's true. Yes. Brian says symptoms of Omicron are about half that of a mild cold. Is that right? Wow. Adam says this has sure been one hell of a 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It's a long time. They didn't tell you. See, they didn't mean a week on Earth. They meant like a week on Jupiter where it takes forever to turn. They meant like that. They didn't mean Earth weeks. They meant Jupiter weeks. Like that. That's what they meant. So you just didn't get it, Adam. You should check the fine print. They meant weeks may not be Earth weeks. That was the fine print. You weren't paying attention. So yes. I love how it never ends, but they keep trying to dangle a carrot we'll get back to love of freedom we used to have. You and I both know, Adam, that's never happening again. We have to change the entire system. It's why I'm doing what I'm trying to do, right? Because we have to change the entire system. Otherwise, we're never getting back. Once we say the government can decide what it's decided already, how do you go back? When all they're saying is we can do whatever it takes to keep all of you safe. Once you get to that point and we don't push back, what can they not do? Well, to keep your kids safe. But it's not taking your kids away from you because you won't vaccinate your kid. They're going to take the kid away from you because they can do anything they want to keep your kids safe. And you fight back, you go into jail. And maybe prison. That'll teach you to care about your kid. That's where this is going. And you think, Larry, you're exaggerating. I'm not. And if those of you who've had CPS come around your house, you know I'm not joking because you've seen it happen. You've watched it happen. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, all right. See if I can do this here. Dave says, Democrats, if only all Americans receive the vaccine, we can defeat a global pandemic that has a new variant every other month. Good point. You're not wrong, Dave. You're not wrong. Adam, you aren't nutty. This is some nonsense. How can you say no cause for concern and everyone, regardless of whether you are low risk or not, we need to get you a shot? Yes, and your kids, Adam. You and your kids. And they're making it feel like if you don't get your 5-year-old, literally 5-year-old, if you don't get your 5-year-old vaxxed, you're a bad parent. How's that going to land in schools? Excuse me. And the worst part is a lot of people have pulled their kids out of public school and they put them into private schools, right? Now, the new mandate from the mayor, well, I don't care if you have public school or not, all schools, you got to get vaccinated. What happens when they say you homeschool? You got to get vaccinated. If you don't, you can't homeschool your kid. How is that not right? I mean, that's what's happening. Am I missing anything? Have you seen them slow down at all? People say slippery slope. He's pushing the sled down the slope. It's not me making up the slope. He's on top pushing it down the slope. He's actively doing it. I hope you guys see what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So, anyway, Alice says blood clots, seizures, and heart attacks are a regular everyday thing happening from these shots. I've heard that. I don't know the details of that, Alice, before with you. But my point is, you, Alice, should be deciding whether the blood clot or seizure or heart attack is a greater or worse threat than COVID. I don't get to decide that. You do. Now, I don't know you specifically, but what if you are in a position to where you're over 80 years old and you have a pre-existing condition, and if you get COVID, you're surely going to you're going to die. You might decide that the gamble on taking it is worth it. You might, and you might not. The point is, I don't decide. You do. That's the most important piece that no one is getting here. So I don't have to know those details unless I'm worried about taking the shot, right? The person who needs to know those details is the person who's considering taking the shot, who's scared or worried. Do what you feel is appropriate. That's all I'm saying. Hope that was clear. So Sam says, Dear Bill and Kathy, I have an allergy to dust. Please make sure I'm safe by passing a law to ban dust and provide free maid service. Oh, Sam, you're the best. Yes, I am so stealing that. The odds are I will not give you any credit for it. I'm just telling you right now, I'll probably just going to say it one day in one of my events and completely just not give you any credit. But I'm going to try to remember to give you credit, Sam. That's a very good one. I have an allergy to dust. Please make sure I'm safe by banning dust and providing free maid service. That's awesome. That's so good. I'm so going to steal that. Yeah. Well, he's got to keep us safe. And by the way, in New York State, we have now passed the Proposition 2, which now a healthful environment is now a right in New York State. So, Sam, they could pass that. But the problem is, what happens if we don't have enough maids? Oh, you have to call them something else like domestic cleaning or cleaning workers, maybe cleaners, something. So, cleaners, what happens if you don't have enough cleaners? You can start drafting cleaners? I know. I got it. National Guard. We'll bring the National Guard out, put them in maid outfits, and have them dust everybody's house. Because if you can't get enough maids and cleaners, there we go. So you get enough cleaners. We'll get the National Guard out so that you don't deal with your dust allergy. That is a smart move. Let's do that. I love that. Yes. Adam said, I told my family earlier today the most terrifying sentence I could possibly imagine is, don't worry, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. If you ever hear that, run. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thomas says, the sky's falling, get vaccinated and everything will be okay until next month. Absolutely. Let me grab, Alice says, haven't seen kids being a super spreader, and this has been going on for how long? Thank you, Alice. I keep saying this. Where are the super spreader events from kids? I don't remember any of. Look, if someone knows one, please show me. Maybe there is one. Maybe. But I pay attention to a lot of this stuff. So there clearly aren't many. Otherwise, I would have seen someone would have emailed it. I would have seen it online. I would have watched it on TV. We would have known if there's a lot of them. So, probably not. So, yes. Thomas says, how and why does anyone take these two clowns seriously? Want to see New York keep spiraling down the commode? Sit back and nothing. I'm agreeing with you, Thomas. They take them seriously because they're ruining our lives. They are actively ruining our lives. That's the issue. Dave says, I can't wait for the lure variant. Very nice. Yes. The Omicron Percy 5. Or is it 9? I've actually forgot. What's the number? Omicron Percy. Is it 9 or 8? Ugh. I'm messing up with my Futurama trivia. It's one of those. Yes. It's one of those. Yes, absolutely. It's very good. Let me go a little bit further if I could. See if I can find. I'm going to find a little bit more of this piece if I can. Okay. Let me share a bit more. Sorry, my nose is bugging me. It's my dust allergy, Sam. I got to get the National Guard in.
That we're providing information as we learn it so people can take precautions.
Oops, sorry about that. Let me share the screen for you here.
Is that
There
the
we go.
White House today answered our request, which we've had in place for a long time, to make sure that private insurance companies will now cover your over-the-counter test kits.
So now the government, the federal government now mandates that now the private insurance companies will cover your test kits. You can go buy all the test kits you want. Who's going to pay for that? That's free. It's because the insurance companies love us. Is that what it is? They're going to give it because they care? Nope. Money machine go burr.
Test kits. So those are on shelves right now. I encourage people to also make sure that they have those available. If they just have this anxious feeling or this sense, I want to know for sure that I don't have the variant or Delta.
Why? This is a very important one. Why? I just want to be anxious and know that I don't have it. Why would you even say that? Is there anyone going right now? Do you have the flu? You got to be anxious. Do you want to know if you have the flu or not? Why? Why would you even do that? Why would you even say that? What a terrible example she is to all of us. You should say if you have symptoms, or if you're in that demographic, then be concerned. Otherwise, why?
Or whatever else they may have. We want to make sure that people know that these are now covered by the insurance providers.
So it's free.
Thank you, Dr. Long, you want to add on the tracing of the cases so far?
Just everything's free.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I really appreciate that question. As Governor Hochul said, we're learning about these cases in real time now. The first case, which we were just looking into right before this press conference, was actually an individual that had already completed our contact tracing intake. And we were able to offer that individual resources, and we confirm with that individual every day as part of our usual monitoring that they are appropriately isolated at home and therefore not risking their friends, family members.
So they were just, monitoring them in isolation. So the government is monitoring you in isolation. Why would you report that you have COVID? Why would you want to know? Why would I want to tell the government that I have COVID? So they can have people monitor me and take my information down and cover. Is that what I want? Please govern me.
Other New Yorkers. We're going to be doing that same process for all of the cases as they come in and setting up different chains of transmission to make sure.
What if they don't want to? What if they don't want to?
Sure that we're able to break chains if we see any connections to things like the events. I also just want to really emphasize something that has been said here, which is that in New York City, we've worked really hard for this day to build a testing structure that has ample capacity to offer everybody testing.
We have worked hard to build this up to make sure that everyone will be tested for COVID. One of the biggest killers in New York, in fact, the country, are heart disease and cancer. But to hell with that. We didn't put any effort into that at all. And what's growing right now? Suicide. Like there's no tomorrow. And also what's growing? Drug overdose. All over the country, drug overdose. So what we did, we decided to focus on testing for disease that is, depends on where you are, 6th or 7th on the list of causes of death for Americans. COVID's like number 6 or 7 over the course of the entire year. So we spent all our time working on that one. Those others, as for chumps, we don't care about that. This is the one we care about. We're so proud of that. And we put up these testing centers right next to the guys dying of overdoses. We watch those guys die, but we got testing centers. So we'll know if they die of an overdose, whether or not they had COVID. And we'll know where they were walking around before they dropped dead of an overdose. Oh, that guy who shot himself? Yeah, that guy, we'll know if he has COVID because we have testing centers. That's cool. Oh, those people who don't have jobs and they're starving, those people in the black market, those gangbangers who are shooting people dead in the streets in broad daylight, we will so know if they have COVID. Like, we will know. Because when we drag their young 18, 16, 15-year-old bodies from the streets, we'll have tests right there and we'll know, oh, yeah, he's dead. But when he died, he had COVID. We'll know that because that's what's critical. Because this entire thing, all of these daily briefings, they're only about this. Where's the daily briefing about the economy, the violence, and the inflation that's happening in our state that everyone cares about? Where's that briefing? Nowhere. But you know what? When you can't afford gas and you're stuck on the side of the road, you'll be like 5 minutes from a COVID testing site. That'll be fine. You'll be walking, but it's fine because it's close. You won't need your car since you can't afford to put any gas in it. No worries. And if you're hungry, if you're starving, you will know if you have COVID or not. That's fine. Boy, I'm so glad you're on the case. This state's awesome.
This week and last week on individual days, we did more than 100,000 tests in a given day. And the median lab turnaround time is 1 day, 24 hours in New York City.
Look at that.
So if you're sick, or if you're going to a gathering, or if you've been traveling, come out, get tested now. Or in New York City, if
you're traveling and you're going to your family's house or something like that, come out and get tested. And if we find out you got it, your vacation's over. Because now we're going to lock you up and we're going to monitor you. So glad you paid for that flight to New York. That'll work. Meanwhile, was it yesterday or yesterday? 2 people were shot in Manhattan. One was a grad student at Columbia, and the other was a tourist. Because that's what we need to do in New York. Worry about our tourists and our grad students getting shot. Because, but I tell you, they're probably very close to a COVID testing site.
Close contact, a traveler, over 65, or immunocompromised, call 212-COVID-19, and you don't even have to come out to get tested. We'll bring testing to your door, into your house, and test you for free.
We'll go right into your house, because that's what I want. Literally, you can call the government to come into your house. New York. This is New York. Call us. We'll invade your house and lock you down and quarantine you. Just call us. We're happy to do that. 1-800-STORMTROOPER, and we'll be right there. Lock you right down. That's all it is. 1-800-STORMTROOPER, and we are there.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Next is...
Or maybe it's 1-800-GESTAPO. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it could be either one. I'm not sure. Oh, did I go too far with the Gestapo thing? It's fine. I have German ancestry. I can say that.
Steve Burns from WCBS 880.
Hi, Mayor and Governor. I appreciate you doing this. I'm sure a lot of folks are feeling some amount of deja vu here to March 2020 when we were talking about, a few cases here or there. Obviously, the problem back then turned out to be much more widespread than we knew. So should we assume there are more than 5 Omicron cases in New York State at this point? And if so, why are we not seeing more proactive moves in terms of mask mandates, crowd gathering limits, things like that?
This guy is he's saying, I really was hoping for a boot on my neck. I really I was like, all like, whoo, am I going to get the boot? He was hoping for the boot in the neck. And then de Blasio was like, nah, I'm probably going to smack you around a little bit. No boot on the neck. And he's like, no. Daddy, can I please have the boot in the neck? I really want it. Can we do this? That's literally what he's saying. The first guy just says, just call and we'll come into your house and lock you down. And this guy's like, but can you lock me down outside too?
Steve, I just want to say, I'll turn to the governor, but just say it's a very different world, thank God, than 2020.
Okay.
Our hospitals have so much more ability to deal with the challenge than they did then. We have much better treatments available, and we have a huge number of people vaccinated. It really is night and day.
So we're good. So then why did you just make mandates to fire thousands of people? If that's accurate, and I hope what you're saying is correct. I believe what you're saying is correct. So with that being correct, Why are you making vaccine mandates and firing thousands of New Yorkers in critical places like childcare and such, and schools and such? Why would you do that?
But I think there's no lack of urgency. Everyone understands we're going to throw everything we got at this new challenge.
Why? You just said there's no problem. You've just said no big deal. But we'll throw everything at this thing. We have no idea what it is. Throw everything at it. It could be nothing. Charge.
We need to know more about it. But right now, what we do know is get people vaccinated.
No. Okay. You need to know more about it. So don't throw everything at it. That's what you did last time. It was a disaster. You should, when you get your butt kicked and you don't learn, you just got a butt whipping. But if you get your butt kicked and you learn something, you got a lesson. I feel like you just got a butt whipping.
Encourage mask use, encourage testing, and we're going to be doing that in a very, very aggressive fashion. Governor.
Aggressive.
That's a good question, but I want to remind people that this is not March 2020. We have learned an enormous amount over the last 20 months.
We did, okay.
How this transmits, how we can deal with it, but also we weren't even close to having a vaccination. In fact, at the time, if you recall.
You have to say vaccine. She has to say vaccine. Doesn't matter. Good morning. How are you? I'm vaccinated. No. I meant how are you? I'm fine. Are you vaccinated? Wow. So what do you want to have for lunch? I think I'm going to have chicken and maybe a little bit of salad. And by the way, I'm vaccinated. I know. Wow. Stop. I got it. She's like every other word's vaccination. Every other word. Doesn't matter. So the economy is collapsing. It is. But are we all vaccinated?
We are told it would take minimum of 2 to 3 years to have a vaccine available. And the miracle of modern science and the hard work by many people in pharmaceutical companies in Washington, D.C., they were able to, with
it was Washington, D.C. that did it. See that? She knows where her bread is buttered. It was Washington, D.C. did it. Yes.
Within 9 months, have a vaccine available to our most vulnerable in nursing homes and our senior citizens.
So we don't want to have nursing homes.
Vaccination was and continues to be the game changer, the great differential.
The vaccines are the game changers.
Panic that this is going to be a repeat of what happened before. Again, we don't know whether this is going to be like the Delta variant, which has caused some hospitalizations, or one of the earlier variants, which never really materialized to be a serious.
Yeah, some variants never materialized to be serious. That's true. So you think you'd learn and not take out. It's almost like she's saying, and the sky is blue, but the sky is really red. But the sky is completely, totally red. And it's blue. It's blue and it's red. Did I miss that? That's what you're saying.
Whatsoever. We are taking this extremely seriously from the public health perspective. That's why you see this coordinated effort and the contact tracing, make sure there's testing available, that there's no shortage of vaccinations. I was in the White House yesterday talking about how I want to make sure that we have ample supply of vaccines going out to all the pharmacies. That's a direct line from the federal government to the pharmacies.
Which was my plan, by the way, from the beginning. That's fine.
The president's addressed that today with his winter response. So we feel good about this, but we're not complacent. We're not sitting back and saying we're fine. We're saying that
but when it comes to the economy, you're doing exactly that. When it comes to school, you're doing exactly that. When it comes to inflation, you're doing exactly that. When it comes to job growth, you're doing exactly that. You're sitting back and being complacent on everything except this. This is the 6th or 7th, I forgot, most deadly thing that Americans are handling right now.
We have so much available to us that we're ready to deploy. And with respect to our real concern, back then and even now, it is overcrowding of hospitals. To make sure that we always have enough capacity for someone who either has COVID and needs additional care, medical care.
That's true.
Or someone who has a heart attack or an illness that they.
This is true. This is true. And for those who don't know this, do you know who's the person in charge of the hospital beds in New York State? Yeah, it's her. She's the one. Certificates of need in New York are signed by the governor. So when His Majesty King Cuomo, our previous king and monarch and Lord and Savior, prior him, he decided 50,000 was all we need, no more. Last year, when he was still ruling us with his iron fist, it was still 50,000. Now, guess how many hospital beds we have? 50,000. No new ones. We haven't built any new ones. None.
They have all the medical care they need. And that is why less than 1 week ago, I instituted an emergency order.
Okay, because she wanted to make sure everyone has all the care they need. So she is an emergency order to build more hospital beds, clearly, right? Or to lower licensing restrictions to get more people in, or to remove the mandates, the vaccine mandates, so that more medical personnel could work. She did one of those three things, right? No.
The state of New York, which gives me the resources to deploy the National Guard.
She's going to bring in a National Guard. That's it. Sam, I'm sorry. I know you want the National Guard to be dusting your house. They can't. They got to be dusting hospitals. So, that the National Guard can only dust certain amounts of places, right? So you're going to have to sneeze. I know it sucks, but they got to dust hospitals instead.
Where we may have shortages in staffing.
Oh, you might have shortages in staffing. Why would you have shortages in staffing? Just random? Or because you fired them because of their mandates? Could that be the reason? Omicron's coming. The world's ending. What should we do? I know. We'll fire our medical personnel. Brilliant. Brilliant, Your Majesty. Great idea. The Queen has deemed so. Fire them. 10% gone. Why? Because we have to react to the Omicron or whatever. She said something. Just clap. That's what we have.
And as well as deploy people elsewhere within our state system of healthcare areas that are doing well, that we send staff, medical staff, particularly nurses, to those hospitals that have less than 10% of individuals, less than 10% bed capacity.
Less than 10% bed capacity? Really?
We also stopped elective surgeries in those areas.
So we stopped surgeries that you would like to have. That why she or the medical community decides is elective or not. They decide. You don't. They might go, well, Larry, do you need to have this or that? Maybe. Who am I to decide on what you think is elective or not? Who the hell am I to decide that? I'm not. You decide that. I don't. You decide what's important to you and what you need done or don't need done. Well, Larry, that's not fair. You know what's not fair? She locks all of those down. Who actually gets punished? Oh, yeah. The working poor and the middle class, because they can't afford to go where they want to go. They can't afford it. But if you're wealthy, you just pack up and go where you want. I want some elective surgery. I fly to wherever they're doing it and I go do it because I have money because I'm wealthy. So what her edict does is punish the middle class and the middle class and working poor. That's what all her edicts do, is just punish a group of people. The wealthy are fine. They left New York. They're like, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to go someplace else where I don't deal with her crap. And they leave.
Vulnerability, and it's something that we can even expand those capabilities. So yes, I agree with the mayor 100%.
Of course you
do.
We
are in a far better place. The people are informed.
We're in a better place, so fire everybody.
There's not a panic. We're not trying to instill that. We're just trying to.
Yes, you are. You are literally trying to instill a panic. You just said, if you just got to know if you have COVID or not. You are literally instilling a panic.
Let people know we've got this. Have confidence in what we're able to do because it's a different world right now. It is still a public health crisis.
Is it?
It does not have to be a crisis.
So it's a public health crisis. Enough for you to do this. What about overdoses? What about suicides? That's not a big deal. Whatevs? Is that okay? 5 cases of Omicron. People had the sniffles. Shut it all down. I literally have people being shot outside of Columbia University. For those of you who don't know, Columbia University is in Manhattan. It's uptown Manhattan. Columbia is an Ivy League school, meaning expensive, wealthy, heavy hitter people show up to go to the school. People getting shot and stabbed outside of this school. Stabbed and shot. Some dude came out with a knife and stabbed like 3 people. 2 died and 1 didn't, but got stabbed because, guns kill people. But the knives came by and killed 2 people. Right? That was a day or 2 ago outside of Columbia. So where's your press conference on, I don't know, common sense knife control, I guess. Is that what we should be doing now? Where's your on that one? Or I don't know, we got to lock people in Columbia so they don't come out and get stabbed or whatever. I don't know, whatever your dumb plan would be. It would be a dumb plan, but at least you'd be talking about it so someone could figure it out. But the way you're talking, the only thing that matters is this. If tourists don't come back to my city dies. That's how it works. New York City is a massive tourist city. If tourists, if you don't come by and go to the Statue of Liberty, and you don't come by and do a walking tour of Wall Street, or come and see a Yankee game, or go to Broadway or Carnegie Hall, my city's finished. And all you care about is this. I care about tourists getting stabbed. That's a big deal for me in this city. In my state's a tourist state. We make $60 billion, $80 billion every year off tourism in my state. That's kind of important. When people go on vacation and get stabbed to death, they tend to not want to come back. Well, they can't because they're dead, but their family doesn't want to come back either. And they tell their friends, they'll go to New York City, you're going to get stabbed. How about we don't do that? It's fine. They'll know if they have COVID, though. They will be, yes. So the guy who stabbed my cousin, did he have COVID? We knew. We had a testing site. Like right afterwards he stabbed your guy, we tested both. We knew who had COVID right then.
That
Done.
leads to the shutdowns, and we did not have information, we did not have a vaccine, and we did not have the tracing and tools at our disposal right now. That is the difference between now and then.
Amen. And Steve, look, anyone out there who's feeling urgency at this moment, there's some.
You just said it's an urgent. Anyone who's feeling urgent, you just called it an urgent moment. But you don't want to start a panic.
You can do. If you haven't gotten the booster, go get it. If your child's not vaccinated, get them vaccinated.
Hold on. Hold on. Is he trying to get us to get vaccinated? I think he's only said for us to get vaccinated, kids vaccinated, I think 29 times. I think. I mean, I may have added wrong, but I think he's trying to tell us something.
I mean, this is something where we need everyone to participate. And there's a lot of people who still need to come forward and help us get the job done. So
see that?
We have the tools like never before.
Never before.
And the vast majority of New Yorkers are responding, but there's still folks can come out, get vaccinated, help us protect against this challenge. Steve, do you have a follow-up?
I do. Thank you. I wanted to see from the governor's perspective if this changes your calculus at all on vaccination mandates, especially.
This guy cannot get enough of government. He was like, De Blasio, will you put your boot on my neck? Oh, you won't? Okay, Governor, will you please someone mandate me? That's literally what he's saying. Will someone put their boot on my neck? I'm like, what's the guy gonna do to get a boot in his neck around here?
When we see, you mentioned the other day, such a stark disparity in terms of the problem spots upstate versus in New York City, would you at all be looking at emulating what Mayor de Blasio has done in terms of mandate for employees or something like the key to NYC to go to restaurants?
See that? But hey, Governor, why don't you act like what de Blasio does, and why don't you stop mandating all of upstate New York the same way? Right? You should mandate them too, right? Can we all get a boot on our neck?
Restaurants or theaters or things like that. Does this at all change your calculus on vaccination mandates?
It also comes down to compliance, and I'm aware of the tools we have at our disposal. We have had.
It comes down to compliance. That sounds awesome. I love that. Do as I say, and I might not put my boot on your neck. I mean, I probably will, but I might not put my boot on your neck if you do what I say without it. Comes down to that.
Even pushback with respect to our initial vaccine mandate, which was to have all healthcare workers receive a vaccine. I'm pleased that we have now 100% of healthcare workers who are working in nursing homes and in hospitals vaccinated. Because
you fired the rest. I'm pleased that we have 100% of everyone in the country who's 5'7" or taller, because we murdered everyone who was 5'6" and shorter. That's not a good answer, right? I'm happy that everyone in America agrees that I'm the handsomest man in the world, because I've had everyone who doesn't executed. That's what you just done. I'm so happy they're all 100% vaccinated. So great.
But that resulted in a loss of literally thousands of workers that we needed.
That resulted. Did you hear what she said? That resulted. It just happened. It resulted in the loss of thousands of workers that we needed. It just happened. No, it's kind of your fault. Like, you did it.
Which is why we have a situation now. One of the reasons we have a situation now to back.
Ooh, she backed it off. We have a situation now, which is one of the reasons why. No, it's the reason why.
Fill those. So I know all the tools we have at our disposal. If we learn more about this variant, that it's different than we don't have enough information right now, but those are issues that I can trigger instantly. I can change the dynamic
instantly with
the directive instantly.
You can Thanos snap jobs right away. Bow, all the jobs gone. You can do that. She's not lying. She could Thanos snap the jobs away. She's done it before. And you know what? Keep messing around. Just do it again.
Depending on the circumstances. So again, I don't want to overreact to this. The city of New
Yes,
York.
you do. Yes, you do. Stop. I don't want to overreact. You're already overreacting.
It's different in that the density and how people work and how they travel together. Sidewalks are crowded, the subways are crowded, the public housing in particular, and all the apartments are crowded, dense places.
Yeah.
And there's much more opportunity for transmissibility than we see elsewhere. That is a factor to take into consideration. The New York State workforce has a vaccinate or test to return to work situation now, and it's working very well. Our numbers of testing positive rates are very low. So
there we go. We're doing
put this on the table of issues that we have able to address.
So it's weird how that if you just threaten to fire people, before you know it, everyone who's left working is vaccinated. Okay, I guess it does work. It does work. She's not wrong.
We're not going to overreact, but I can react that quickly if we need.
You saw that Thanos snap? She wasn't joking. I will Thanos snap those jobs. Half the jobs of New York gone. That's it. Take that, Iron Man.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Last question for today. It goes to Michelle Price from the AP.
Thank you, Governor and Mayor. I'm wondering, do any of these 5 cases move back the date that this variant may have been in New York? Do we know the earliest it may have been here?
Do we know if it's been here earlier or not? That's why does that matter?
Well, our case from Suffolk County looks like they tested positive on November 30th.
So that's what we know.
November 30th was the date they tested positive at a lab in Suffolk County, and my understanding is that Wadsworth Lab up in Albany has been looking for these variants and looking to identify if it came through, and this lab sent the results, and now we have confirmation that it was November 30th.
So it's 4 days ago.
Yeah, Michelle, I'm going to add and turn to Dr. Choksi real quick. I mean, we keep learning. We learned this in the beginning of COVID that a certain amount of spread can happen that it isn't even picked up by the most.
Yeah, I think we're done with that. That's pretty much the end of it. It's just more horrible stuff. Let me grab some more of your comments if I could. So yes. All right. Shelley says, right now we're dealing with the Hochul de Blasio variant. It's deadly, especially for the economy. It is crushing. Yes. Adam says, protecting people from employment. They're doing a good job, Adam. I mean, they are. If you don't want to work, I mean, they are protecting you from it. So I guess that's something they're doing well, I guess. So Ryan says we need to remove all the tools. I like that. Or better yet, Ryan, better yet, give all the tools to you and me, and then we can use them as we see fit. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Alice says stores are firing people that have been working during the pandemic, and now get the vaccine. Yeah. 100%. Yes. So, all right. Let's see if I can go down here. Shelley says city and state working together. Is that redundant or redundant? Oh, very good. Very good. Yes. I love that. Robert says, how can we get the election moved up? We need Larry now. That would be good. I would agree with you. Yes, I would agree with you. Kathy, let your eyebrows down. I think that's her makeup style, isn't it? Right. I think that's makeup. I think. Hold on. You've just made me rethink this. I think that's actually makeup, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can. Here. Let me give you a picture. I think it's her makeup. I don't think it's her eyebrows. I'm not trying to be mean. I think this is her style. I think she purposely chooses to wear her makeup this way. I think that's makeup there, right? Because her eyebrows should be here. Is that right? And I think that's makeup. Hold on.
In this country and perhaps on this planet are working together to make sure that we keep New Yorkers safe. We'll continue to do that, and I look forward.
Yeah, I think that's her. I think that's a choice she's making. I think that's makeup. Her eyebrows don't go up or down because I think they're there. I think that's there. I don't know. I'm guessing. So that's what I think. So, all right, let me keep doing this. All right. Jason says, except there are several counties that they could get info from. Just my thought. I'm not sure where that comes from. Yeah. Ryan says she's one more facelift from her eyebrows becoming her hairline. You think that's what it is? Is that a facelift? Maybe. I'm not mad at her for that, right? I mean, if you guys know me well enough, if you think that, getting a facelift or getting something done to your body makes you feel better about yourself and you want to feel good, get it. I'm all good with that. My issue is always the same thing. Just don't mandate anybody else. If that's what makes her feel good, good for her. I don't have a problem with that. You're not going to see me comment on her looks. And there's many reasons why I won't. One of them is it's unfair. And I know some of you are going to get mad. Oh, Larry's getting woke. I'm just being realistic. Women are so, and particularly women in power, are so often attacked on their looks when men aren't. It's not fair. It's just unfair. If I'm going to beat up on de Blasio on looks, then I'll beat up on her, because at least then it's fair, right? But looks shouldn't matter anyway, right? I should be looking at her competency, what she's achieving, how she's working. So I shouldn't be talking about her looks anyway. But if I were, I'd also be hammering him too. I would at least be fair about it. It is unfair that so often women get judged based upon looks when it's unfair. They should be judged on their competency. I'm not sure dating them, obviously. If you want to date her, you might care about her looks. That makes total sense. That's romantic. But I'm not dating her. I don't think you're dating her, Ryan. So how she looks is irrelevant. As long as she feels happy with herself, life is good. That's it. So anyway, yes. Jim says, unbelievable that people actually buy this horseshit. They do in droves, Jim. Lockstep. I see it all the time. They buy it in droves. They cannot wait to believe that everything's going to kill you, that you can't think of anything on your own. There's no chance for you to be successful. Yes, absolutely. Michelle says, I have seen South Africa said it was a very mild variant. That's true, Michelle. They did. The South African doctor who reported said it's a mild variant. It's new. Her worry was that it had a very high, it had a higher transmission rate, right? Is that the right phrase? Contagion? I don't know what that the right phrase is medically, but that it can be caught a whole lot easier, but that it's mild when it's caught. So it's like a cold in that regard. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Ryan says www.larrysharpe.com/donate. Yes, you are correct. Don't stop. Absolutely. So Jason says, I mean, sure, it's new in the US, but not so much in other countries. Even Brandon knows that, judging by how he was to travel to them countries. And you know what? People got mad at me when I was against Trump doing the travel ban. I was. And I'm against Biden too. Travel bans don't work. How do we know? We already got people here with the variant. It's already here. The travel ban doesn't work for a very important reason. When Trump did it and when Biden did it, if you're going to make a wall, not that I want a wall, but if you're going to make a wall, you can't let Americans through either. What would happen is people go, travel ban, except Americans. Well, then all the Americans in the foreign country get scared and they all rush back. They all rush back from South Africa. That's why we have cases. The actual ban makes more cases. Those people might have stayed in South Africa and not rushed home if they didn't think there was going to be a ban where they couldn't get back. So they all rush home and they bring the disease with them. So the ban, when Trump did it, and the ban, when Biden did it, both times didn't work. So don't do bans. I was against it for Trump and against it for Biden. They don't work. Don't do it. Dave says, Larry, to answer your question, yes, we are hoping more people will die if it helps us get reelected. Ooh. No, we hope more people won't die if it hurts our chance in November 2022. You know, I don't want to be so cynical, Dave, but I think there's a part of, if not them, then their team and their machine that completely sees it that way. I hate thinking that. However, I think there's a part of me that says you're 100% correct, and a part of me that doesn't want to believe you're correct, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't want to believe it's true, but I think you're probably right. So, yes. Brian says, Omicron is so mild that I wonder if most people won't even know if they got it. Maybe. Yes. Christine says, quit doing the bidding for Big Pharma. Yes. The so-called vaccines are therapeutics, and that rate goes into that. This is the point. You brought this up earlier. You brought this up. I got to give you total credit for this, Christine. You brought this to my kind of head months ago. I don't remember how many months ago, 6, 8, 9 months ago, whenever you did. I forgot when you did. It was months ago when you brought it up, and you were like, if you got to keep taking boosters and stuff, is it a vaccine or is it therapeutic? And not that I'm against therapeutics. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not against therapeutics. If you think a therapy is going to work for you, please take it. But don't lie and call it a vaccine. It's therapeutic. And if you want to use that, if you want to use therapy, please go ahead. But don't lie. I think you're totally correct. And what I've noticed, and if any of you have punished yourselves by watching CNN recently, what I've noticed in CNN, a whole lot more commercials for vaccines. Yes, vaccines for the flu, vaccines for shingles. Yeah, I've seen a whole bunch of vaccines. There's one more: shingles, flu, and there was one more I forgot. It's three things I've now seen a vaccine for. Oh man, I forgot what it is now. Anyway, there's three things. Now there's more vaccines coming out now. More commercials. Because hey, if you get one, get them all. Absolutely. Cha-ching. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. Alice says so they run around all over without their mask and shut down our people. Yes. Absolutely. Michelle says, and she gets paid $250,000 thanks to old Andy. That's correct. That's correct. $250,000. And you don't get paid? Oh, well. You don't work? Oh, well. She's getting paid. She's not worried about you. You can't pay your bills? You can't go on vacation? You can't buy a new car? Oh, well. She's got a driver. She's got a car. She's good. She don't need you. And hubby's wealthy on top of it. She's got cash and hubby makes cash. Hubby makes big bank and she's got big bank. Good to be her. Good to be the queen. It's true. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she's a Cuomo variant. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So Dave says, question, should I be wearing a mask indoors when I'm around my cats? I used to be wearing 2 masks when you're around your cats. 2. One, so that you don't give COVID to the cats, and the other, so the cats don't give you COVID. It's 2. It's science, Dave. You would understand. Double up for cats. So yes, 2 masks for cats. Dogs, 3, because they lick. It's science. So you 3 for that. Only 1 for hamsters. So 1 for hamsters, 2 for cats, 3 for dogs because they lick. So just so you're aware, that's just science. All right. So stop fighting it. Christine will back me up on it. It's all just science. So stop. So yes. Yeah. And Christine says it. Have your cats been to China? If they have, then it goes to 3. Right. Everything goes up 1 if the pet's been to China. So hamster that came from China, 2, cat, China, 3, dog, China, 4. So now that's how you do it. And you, while sleeping too. Absolutely. Doesn't matter. Always. 100%. That's it. So yeah, sorry. Excuse me. So it's winter. No one feels good. Also true. Yes. So all right. Dave says, as far as I know, my cats have not been to China. So 2. Thank you, Christine, for backing me up on this one. Absolutely. Yes. It's good. Ryan says it's blatantly obvious the elites are running the corporatocracy are trying to program everything. I just drove from Colorado to New York. Sucks how every town along the way is being look identical. Yeah. Because they're all run by big business now. That's correct. They're all, yes, all of them. Sam says, studies have shown that vaccinated people can also spread the virus. Studies have shown that cloth masks, non-surgical, are not effective. Says so on the box too. I know it does. The N95 mask actually works if I remember the science behind it. That one actually works. But if it's not the N95, it just makes you look cool if you got like a Joker face on it or something. I mean, I seen Joker smiles. That you look cool if you have that Joker smile on it, but that's all it does. You look cool. And your mask eventually just makes you see how bad your breath smells if you have bad breath. So yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, all right. Ryan says, like heart disease. Yeah. Yes. Exactly right. Justin says, pneumonia shot is every 5 years. Is that right? 5 years. Wow. I didn't even know that. It's amazing. Yeah. Robert says the push for the jab is to create an underclass to persecute. Travel restrictions within the U.S. are coming. You think so? Travel restrictions within the U.S. are coming. Do you mean like you can't get on a bus? Or I mean, they already have that, right? You can't get on an airplane unless you put a mask on. So they kind of already have that. Yeah, they kind of already have that. But do you mean more? Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Shelly says, I'll bring the lemons. See that? If we can get her out, Shelly's bringing the lemons. I'm making lemonade. She's bringing the lemons. You see, Your Majesty, if you're watching, you can step down tomorrow, abdicate. I'll put you right out front of my house. People walk by. I live in the city. People always walking by. You can make tons of money. Lemonade, Kool-Aid, you name it. Coffee. I'll make coffee if you want. It's all good. You tell me. You have a juicer there? We'll get you a juicer. You could do whatever you want. Juicer. It's where I'm in New York City. Juicer would work. You should eat juice bar. Okay. Juice bar, Shelly. You got to bring more than just lemons. You got to bring a bunch of other things too. So bring a bunch and then we'll do it. We'll get a juicer. Yes. All right. Let me keep going here. Thomas says first 104 months to flatten the curve are the longest. That's true. Those are the hardest. The first 104, that's hard. After that, it gets much easier because you just get accustomed to being horrible. Yes. Happiness should be your leader. Larry Sharpe, probably. I'm going to say it. Happiness should be your leader. Now it's not probably. Done. I've just said it. All good. So let people decide for themselves. Alice, yes. Yes. That isn't so crazy. You know, some people are getting very angry and they're like, you got to be anti-vaccine. I'm like, no, you cannot be. You can be. As a policy, let me say that. That's maybe better. You can personally be as anti-vaccine as you want to be. Up to you. But as a policy, you don't want to stop people from getting something that you don't think is good or even bad for them. Right? I mean, smoking is bad for you. It's bad for you. There's no doubt. And many of you smoke. Who am I to tell you can't do it? If you believe a vaccine's bad, and I think you believe vaccines are bad, it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop someone from having it. They think it's the right answer. It means you shouldn't be forced to take it or your kids. That's what it means. I think you're totally correct. You decide for yourself. I think you shouldn't smoke. That's my opinion. People smoke. And if you want to smoke, smoke. It's your life. Enjoy yourself the way you feel appropriate. And maybe smoking, some people smoke for years and never have a problem. Some people smoke and have a problem right away. How do I know which you're going to be? I don't know that. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. But either way, it's not my place to tell you that at all. Enjoy your life as you see fit. And if you want a vaccine, get it. And if you don't, don't. Dottie says they changed the definition. So now it can be called a vax. Just like they changed the definition of herd immunity. Whatever is the cash cow. Oh, is that true? Is there some official definition that is posted someplace? Because that actually would make sense, right, Dottie? I think that's brilliant. If they actually did that, then they would change the definition, and then that would make Christine wrong because they changed the definition on her. Yeah, could be that. Yes. So, let's see here. All right. She then goes on, newsflash, viral illness is not contagious. Proven fact. What? Is that true? It's an interesting one. Okay. Ryan says we have one of the most beautiful states and the ugliest politics. Yes, and yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. Shelley says they'll push the dust into undesirable zip codes. You see that, Sam? You didn't know that you were an elitist. You thought you were just taking care of your own dust problems. No, you were an elitist. Now they're going to start pushing all the dust into the bad neighborhoods. That's the problem. That's the issue. You're going to push it into there. I love that. That's good. All right. Let's see if I can go here. David says, possibly in the fine print, the insurance company will cover one of the tests. It will cover either the at-home test or the one in the doctor's office, but not both. Oh, maybe. Could be. Yeah. Dan says, I think I'm losing brain cells from these three stooges. Yes, I'm with you. Yes. Michael says, like hell, the government's monitoring me against my constitutional rights for being ill with a cold. Get bent. Why would anybody? The funny part is you saw some of the people literally saying, please. I don't know why people do it, Michael. I don't know why, but they do it. Polo says, Larry, as funny as you are, I hope one day New York no longer has a tyrannical governors and mayors to bring us out your comedic genius. Thank you so much. I'll be funny someplace else, I hope. Maybe I'll do these and I'll be funny when I do my press conferences. And yeah, maybe that's it. Michael says, worked hard to throw taxpayers' money away. 100% they did. Really hard, Michael. And really hard. They went out of their way to throw the money away. 100% out of their way. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Can we have the people arrested for stalking? Nice. I love that. Michael says, COVID testing has become a new industry worth billions. Yes, and yes. And what people don't get is when the government says it's free, that means it is a grift. That's how that works. Testing is free, grift. So-and-so is free, grift. This thing is free, grift. Vaccine is free, grift. Anytime it's free, it's a grift. Guaranteed. Absolutely. So, Paula says, you and Spike are hilarious. You need to do a Sharpe Spike for America tour. Ooh, Sharpe Spike. That's not bad. Sharpe Spike. That's good. All right, we'll figure it out. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. Grab a cup of this. AMA is an awesome briefing. Yeah. Yep. Christine says, perfect date night, COVID test, a burger, and a movie. He's a keeper. That's true. Christine, it's true. Yes, absolutely. That's true. Let's see here. I'm so glad my kids are adults. Yeah, mine aren't yet, Michelle. Mine aren't yet. Absolutely. I'm not there. Not yet. Slowly, yes. Adam says, I would love more government in my house to tell me how to live my life. As a fellow veteran, I know firsthand how wonderful life is when the government has full control over it. Thank you, Adam. Yes, right? We walked away from that lifestyle. That's no longer our lifestyle. Absolutely. Yes. Brian, please, sir, may I have another? I know. These people, they drive me crazy. Michael says, these people love to oppress and be oppressed. Yes. Oh, my God. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Dottie says, so they can keep spreading the asymptomatic carrier BS. Never happens. If you have no symptoms, you are not sick, period. Ah, okay. Okay. There we go. Michael says, translation, it's not our money. Throw money at it. Totally correct. Yes. Totally correct. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Another translation. De Blasio translation. It's different than 2020. Thank God Trump is gone. You know what? You brought that up, David. If you remember what Hochul said, she goes, we're lucky, Washington, D.C. got the vaccine done. Wasn't it Trump that rushed it in 9 months? She didn't want to say that, though. She didn't want to say that because when it was a Trump vaccine, it was bad vaccine. Now it's a Biden vaccine. Now it's good vaccine. No different vaccine. It's the same vaccine. If it was good under Trump, it's good under Biden. If it was bad under Trump, it's bad under Biden. It's the same thing, but you're right. Now that Trump is gone, government is all good. When Trump was there, government's all bad. Yes. We are still not going to ask what President Xi knows and when they know it. Yeah, because big business is in China's pocket. So that's not happening, David. That's absolutely. Yes. All right. I mean, that's good. It's because Big Pharma owns them all. It's kind of true. Yes. It's kind of true. Yes. There we go. Paula says it. Thanks for the vaccine, Donald Trump. She cannot say it. You're right. You caught that. Thank you. I caught it too. She couldn't say it. She's like, Washington, D.C. I don't know who was president then. It's just the people there. I don't know who was president. I don't know. Was it Kennedy? I don't remember. Whoever was president back then. That's what she said. If the vaccine's good now, it was good then. If the vaccine's bad now, it was bad then. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, yes. All right. Let me keep going. Grab a couple more of these. All right. By making them bankrupt by banning money making elective surgery. You bring up a very valid point, Michael. As they begin to do this, the hospitals can't make big money because that's where they make most of their money. They become completely dependent upon the government, and the government reimburses them for whatever they do for COVID. As the hospitals become completely dependent, they can't say no to any mandates because they literally go bankrupt if they say no to mandates because the government won't pay them. You're totally correct. As they do that, all of a sudden it goes away. All that extra money goes away. Government controls them completely. They have no chance to say no to anything. They must say yes to every single thing, that the government says, or they go under. You're completely correct. It's absolutely true. Yes. All right. Let's see. De Blasio just said there is staffing. Michael's like, Florida, here I come. That's good. It's good. Here I come. That's good. All right. David says we have stopped elective surgeries except abortion. Ooh. David, big topic now. Absolutely. Big topic now. Okay. All right. All right. Common sense knife control. Well, yeah. That's it. Absolutely. Michelle says the knife did it since now guns shoot themselves. That's true. Guns just go off now. So probably what happened is, here's what probably happened, Michelle, and they don't want to tell you that, right? The guy was walking, had a knife. He probably was like, I don't know, cutting a lemon or something. He's going to eat a lemon or something. And the knife fell, and the knife hit the floor, bounced up, and then stabbed one guy, and it came out and stabbed the other guy, and then stabbed a third guy, and he didn't have enough energy from the bounce to kill a third guy. So just the two guys got stabbed with that knife, and then one guy, he died. The one guy didn't die. So that's what probably happened, since knives guns shoot themselves. So now knives just take off and kill people. We need common sense knife control. Yep. We need a safe act for knives. Safe knife act is what we need. Yes. Can't have, if you have like a black handle that's got like ridges on it, that's probably illegal, I guess, on a knife. Too many serrated edges. How many edges are serrated, right? How many do you have? 12, 14. 14 is too much. Why do you need, Michelle? Why do you need a knife with 7 serrated edges on it? Why do you need 7? Okay? You don't need 7. Knife control. Exactly right. Paul is right. Common sense knife control. Who needs more than 3 knives? Why need so many knives? Should be a 7-day waiting period to buy a knife. You might kill somebody with it. I'm sorry, it might kill someone because it'll just go off. So you're right. Common sense knife control. Yes. David says, Paul Andrew, Democrats care only about gun violence. Knife violence isn't real violence. Sadly, David, you are correct. Yes. Michael says, knife stabbings do kill far more people in the USA each year than gunshots. Yes, that's correct. Maybe. Oh my God. Michelle, you might be right. We have an epidemic of knives that have gone crazy. All these knives are killing people. Maybe we should pass a law against knives. Maybe, you know what it is? If knives wouldn't be out on bail. See, if we'd be arresting more knives, that's the thing. That's a second glasses thing. That's how important that is. 2 glasses. That's how important that is. I like where you guys are going. I love that. Dan says, I love how the approach to any issue by our queen and former king is hit it with a stick. Yes. Hitting any problem with a stick only encourages that problem to organize and fight back, even if it's blind rebellion. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes. Christine's like, I'll put a boot in his neck. There we go. See, somebody will. He should call you, Christine. He doesn't have to call the governor. Look, I want it. Now, the question is, you got to make a deal on this one, is all I'm saying. You probably want to get a little bit of money on this one, Christine, is all I'm saying. Because he might like it more than you might like it, is all I'm saying. If I hear how that guy's talking, I think he's going to enjoy the boot on his neck more than you're going to enjoy your boot on his neck. So you might want to make a little trade, is all I'm saying. Dollars and cents. Not that I'm saying anything illegal. Of course, I don't care whatever 2 adults do. No big deal. So yes. So let me keep going. All right. And then Justin, get vaccinated. That's all they said. Oh my God, that's all they said. That's all they said. Yes. Paula says, vote Sharpe. He's not about your compliance, still about your liberty. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Michael says, come on, Larry, tyrants never take accountability. That part bothers me a lot. Because if I ever were to be a tyrant for any reason, if I ever were to do something, I would hope I wouldn't, but if I ever were to do something like this, I would only do it because I thought it was literally like life and death, right? That's why I would do it. And I would take full responsibility and I'd tell you why I was doing it. If I ever thought, I don't know what I would imagine doing, but I'll take an example of, my kid, right? If I'm very lenient as a parent and my kids don't rebel much. Why? I don't give them any reason to rebel. So if my kid was in the street though, and I saw a car coming, I would yank my kid out of the street. I would use violence and force to pull my kid out of the street, but I would tell them exactly why I did it. And I would do it. So if I ever did something like that, if I ever did become a tyrant for whatever reason, it would be on a specific issue that I believe was the end of the world for some reason, but I would tell you and take any consequences that might come from that, whatever that might be. I can't imagine what I would do, but I don't know. I don't know if I thought the Chinese were coming across the border into New York State and I blew a bridge up. I don't know. I'm making that up. But maybe if I thought the Chinese were coming across the border to attack us, I might blow the bridge up. I might do that. Now what right do I have to blow a bridge up, right? Governor can be blowing bridges up. But if I did it, I would tell you, I would say, I blew the bridge up. I made a decision. It was me. I did it. And I did it because the Chinese tanks were coming across the bridge. And I didn't want them to take over the town. So I blew the bridge up. You want to impeach me? You want to get mad at me? You want to whatever? Do it. But I didn't want a town to get attacked by Chinese tanks. I made that up completely because I can't even imagine a scenario where I'd be a tyrant. But if I ever was, I would absolutely take accountability. Because then you would go, all right, you know what? That was tyrannical. But you know what? I'd probably done the same thing. So fine. Versus hide or cheat or whatever, then I'd go back to not being a tyrant again. And then if you ever somebody be a tyrant, you'd be like, okay, he probably did it because he thought the Chinese were coming off the bridge. Whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was an odd thing, but the point is, if you want people to trust you, and you ever have to be tyrannical for whatever reason, you should tell them. They might actually be okay with it. Sometimes people want you to save them, right? They do. Sometimes they do. But then you should tell them what you're doing, and they should be like, yes, I'm glad you saved me, right? Whatever. Good. Anyway, maybe I'm being silly here, but that part does bother me a bit because people should be taking responsibility. That's the issue. So Brennan says, I love coming home from work and seeing Sharpe. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that completely. So, all right. No, Larry, it's a facelift. So it is a facelift. Okay, see, I wasn't sure about what it was. Again, not mad at her for getting a facelift. If she wants to look good, awesome. It's fine. But, yes. I'm crying. Good. I'm glad I make you happy. Absolutely. Hammer him. Yeah. Yeah. Shelley says, I don't care what she looks like. I care about what she does with the power she has usurped from the masses. Yes, and yes, Shelley. Yes, and yes. That's what I care about. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Christine's like 100%. Shelley, yep. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So Ryan says, you're right again, Larry. I just can't take her seriously and bet goes the same for dudes with dyed hair in my book. Well, yeah. Yeah, but look, if you're fair and you think some guy's dyeing his hair and trying to be super cool, whatever, and he's 80 years old with jet black hair or something, I get it. At least that'd be fair. And again, if I'm going to judge her on looks, I got to judge them all on looks, right? And look, Giuliani, when he had his stuff, I mean, people hammered him for that. Again, I don't mind if the man wants to dye his hair. If he wants to dye his hair and makes him feel good about himself, dye your hair. If that makes you feel good, do it, please. But his hair dye was literally pouring on his face, and people were messing with him. And I get it. That's obvious. I'm with you on that one. Yes. So, yeah. All right. What's more dangerous, the flu or government? Not even close, my friend. Not even close. Yes, government. Not even close. So, all right. Let's see here. Dottie says, I'm old. I'm secure in my looks. And even while I know I won't get any younger looking, I haven't cared about looks for decades. Good for you, Shelley. Good for you. Yes. Dottie says, because the only real way to stay healthy is to take responsibility for what you shove in your face. And they don't want that burden. So they'll do all the sorts of insane, unhealthy things to avoid that. But not just that, right? Shoving your face is one thing, but other things too, Dottie. Yes, that, and it's your sleep. It's your mental health. It's your social connections. It's all of those things. Yes, what you shove in your face and so many other things, right? You can be super thin and still be unhealthy in so many other ways. So you want to do all of those things. And they're all hard, right? If you're able to keep your weight down from eating right, are you exercising the right way? Are you having the right social interactions? Are you sleeping well? Is your stress level too high? So they're all parts, and we want to be doing all of them. I completely agree, all of them. And it's hard. It's really tough. But if you're going to be the health commissioner, you should be talking about those things because they all matter. We should be talking about all of those things. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Timothy says, I've got 2 cats and a dog, 7.3 masks. Correct. Yes, that's how that works. Yes. Good. All right. So you're getting it now. Good. Exactly. Yeah. Dottie says, and 30 masks if your dog is the kind that digs to China. Oh, yeah. You got one of those? You need a lot of masks. Well, dust is going to come up too. And now Sam can't come to your house until the National Guard is done sweeping up all the hospitals. Then they can come to your house, sweep that all up. Then Sam can come visit you and your 30 masks and cat. Then you could do that. But until no. Yes. He says, can I put a mask on my cat? Very good. See, Rory's thinking. Absolutely. That's what it is. Rory's thinking. You just put a mask your cat. Well done. I love it. David says, I have 2 cats, 2 per cat. Yes. No. Do what Roy says. Mask the cats. 2 of them. Each cat, 2 masks. You good. You're good. So yeah, all good. Love that. So Brian says, no, N95 doesn't meet the 2% other standard. Is that right? So it just protects yourself. Is that true? I knew the N95 mask was an effective mask Are you saying it's not? It only helps yourself, Brian? Dade says the thing about the N95 mask is that employers are forbidden by OSHA to make anyone use them without first getting a lung function test done. Oh, because it's going to be hard to breathe because it actually is a filter. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Michelle says with COPD, I'd fail that real quick. Yeah. A lot of people, they have trouble with masks. It's absolutely true. Yes. So, all right. Alice says, I'm not anti-vax. Okay. My feeling from what you were saying was that you were, but I got you. But I believe people need their own choice for themselves and their children. 100% yes. 100% yes. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Christine says, I'm still right. Thank you, Christine. I love that. That's great. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can go down here real fast. Ryan says, we need Larry in New York. Thank you. I appreciate that. Spike to White House. Very good. Yes, absolutely. So, guys, this is some great stuff. One thing I want to bring up, if I can, as I always bring up, and I want to keep bringing up because it really does matter. Hold on one second. The prop master handed me the wrong sharp knife. Shelly, you're paying attention. Very good. Absolutely very good. Yes. All right. I do want to bring up, though, please, as always, like, comment, share. I bring it up all the time. Please do it. It does matter. The world's smallest political quiz. I bring it up constantly. Why? They're my sponsors. You want to support the show? Take this link and share this link in your social media so people can take it. If you've taken it already, awesome. Share it for others. It does matter. The more people take this test, the more think about libertarian ideals, the more conversations you have, it does matter. Please do that. If you want to support me, no worries. LarrySharpe.com/donate. It's a great place to help me run across New York State. But either way, please like, comment, and share. It really does matter. I cannot tell you how much it does matter. So, yes. All right, guys, I want to say thank you so much for tonight. I appreciate the time you gave me. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm off for a couple of days from the show. I'll be back on Monday night again. But over the weekend, if you want to see me, you can go to LarrySharpe.com/events. And I'll be in certain areas. I'll be in, hold on, let me see where I will be so you guys know. If you guys want to come, say hi, you can. You can see me personally. I'll be in upstate New York. Well, some people don't call it upstate where I'm going. But yes, I do still call it upstate because I'm from New York City. So anything basically north of like the Bronx is upstate for me. I'm teasing a bit, but you know what I mean. I want to let you know where I am going. I will be in Saratoga County and then Essex County tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'll be in Schoharie and Ulster. So if you guys want to come around, please come see me. I'd love to see you guys. Anyway, either way, I will see you all on Monday.